So Sennheiser just released a new product, and it's an IEM. Now I know that some of you may be a little bit disappointed. You wanted a little more. I see some of you asking for a HD900, a HD1000, a cheaper HD1. But let me tell you, this is some good shit. We got our sponsorship back, boys. This video is sponsored by Linsol. Are you a fan of Chi-Fi IEMs but never sure which ones of the hundreds of shady stores selling them wouldn't just take your money and run? No threat. Introducing Linsol, one of the biggest and most trusted stores in the audiophile Chi-Fi space. Peace of mind, chaos for your wallet. With almost every popular Chinese brand in their catalog, Linsol is your one-stop shop for all things made in China. Even though everything is made in China, let's be honest. They also ship virtually everywhere, so there's no need to worry about those pesky geographical restrictions. Also, as an added layer against conflict of interest, Linsol does not carry the IE600 and are not aware of the contents of this video. Speaking of which, back to the video. The usual disclaimers again, this IE600 has been provided by Sennheiser at no cost. But of course, if you're someone who's familiar with my content, you would know that sending me free things is absolutely no guarantee of getting a good review. If it's actually bad, oh, they're gonna get it. Some of you may look at the title and go, redemption arc. The great Sennheiser. Did they even need redeeming in the first place? Before we get into the whole IE600 thing, let's just all gather around the campfire. Allow me to weave you the context in which I approach this review. Sennheiser kind of has an odd dichotomy. On one hand, I would absolutely shill the shit out of some of their headphones. The HD25s, the HD560s, the 600s, the 650s, the 800s, the HE1s, oh, marron. Amazing headphones, legendary in their own rights, cornerstones of the hobby even. Their references, they are known as the must-haves in any collection. Again, for good reason, but the same cannot be said for the IEM lineup. When it comes to the Sennheiser IEMs, it seems like the magic from their headphone side didn't exactly transfer over. Here's the part where I kind of have to throw Sennheiser under the bus a little bit. Just looking at their IEM lineup at a very brief glance, the original IE80, very V-shaped, kind of alright in this time, but today, it's dog shit. The original IE800 seemed to be a follow-up to the HD800. Alright in its time, but you know, same story again. Not great today. And then we have the IE80S and the IE800S. It's just more of the same. I don't want to talk about it too much. We have the Momentum in-ears as well as the Momentum True Wireless. You know my opinion on the latter ones. In general, the Momentum stuff I don't really like, and the in-ears are no exception. Then we have the Pro lineup, literally meant for the pro audio industry. We have the IE40, the IE100, IE400, and IE500. Still not great. All of them. Now, only recently did we get a revival of Sennheiser's IEM audiophile lineup, with initially the IE300s. It's kind of like a mainstream kind of signature. I personally don't like it. I've written a review about that. Not a fan. Then of course we have the extremely popular IE900s, and I was actually one of the first to break out the news and, you know, had a whole unboxing post. But I was kind of still lukewarm on it. I didn't really like it that much for the same reason, and because of that you don't see a review from me. I don't really talk about it that much because, you know, I don't care. But what exactly is the problem with all of these Sennheiser IEMs? You can kind of see a trend actually if you can't overlay all of their frequency response graphs. For some odd reason or another, seems to me that a lot of Sennheiser IEMs have this depression between the frequency range of 2000 Hz to about maybe 5000 Hz. The whole upper mid-range just gets squashed down and gives all of these Sennheiser IEMs this blunted, low energy feeling, which is somewhat alleviated by its bright upper treble. But at the same time, it's this contrast between the upper mids and the treble that makes the treble sound even more sharp than it actually is. So I don't think it's that much of a fix. I think the biggest weakness for all of these Sennheiser IEMs is just the fact that the mids sound weird. It's the case for all of them. And again, I don't understand why. They've gotten somewhat close with the IE900, but you can still see the weirdness is still there. And the other thing that I don't really understand, of course, is the fact that a lot of these IEMs have this mainstream bassy sound, even those in the audiophile lineup. Like, you compare the IEM lineup and the headphone lineup being mostly trending towards neutral, maybe bright neutral. And then the IEMs are just so bassy and so, some of them dark even. In essence, just when it comes to Sennheiser IEMs, I don't hold them to high regard. Until now. Now you know the drill. When it comes to stuff like build quality, accessories, how the cable feels. I'm sure there are other reviewers out there who would go much more in depth with all of those things, so if you want to learn more about those, well, watch them. But since just you're here, I assume that you're just like me and you only care about one thing. Sound. Here we go. I myself am actually not very excited for new releases recently. After all, the IEM industry literally just goes at a breakneck pace. There's like 5 IEMs that come out every single week, and almost every single one of them are just mediocre. Just look at my ranking list. Majority of IEMs are just around the C tier range, because that's kind of the truth. Most things are just not good. Initially, I was expecting the IE600 to be just kind of the same, you know. Oh, it's another Sennheiser IEM. Well, another bad one, I guess. But dare I say that the IE600 is the most different Sennheiser IEM to date, in all of the best ways possible. The biggest change is that they have fixed the screwy mid-range. No more are you gonna get that weird depresso upper mids anymore. The IE600 has actual upper mids. And it's not like they overemphasize or they had it in a very weird kind of tuning. No, they nailed it. It's proper mids. It's natural sounding. It's good. You have to understand the shock that I am feeling in my bones right now. A Sennheiser IEM with natural mids. That's not possible. So yes, not only did they fix the depression in the upper mids, they did it well. They did it excellently. The IE600 is a dynamic driver IEM that is good. Tuned well. Tuned well. That's not something you can say for a lot of dynamic driver IEMs. In terms of bass, yes, it's kind of bass forward. It's similar in regard to the IE900. That is to say that it is refined, it is focused, unlike the IE300. The bass, as with the mids, is also excellent. You get power, you get authority, you get the tactility that you can expect out of a dynamic driver, but it never bleeds. It's controlled. Everything focused into the sub-bass regions, just like how I love it. Oh, after my own heart. So it seems like the IE600 is turning out to be the perfect IEM, right? Well, now we go into the most divisive aspect. The treble, which is elevated at around 9 to 10 kilohertz, which is kind of rare in IEMs. Now that might translate into one of two things. You might not like the treble, because that kind of emphasis may translate to sibilance, some sharpness, you know, the kind of grating quality to it, maybe. But if you like that kind of treble, it may sound sparkly, energetic, just straight up something out of this world, because again, it is rare to get this kind of treble in an IEM. Effectively, we have a kind of blue cheese situation. You hate it, you really hate it. But if you love it, you can't go anywhere else to have it. And to just top off this whole wedding cake of goodness, we have resolution, which is on par with the IE900. Yes, I'm going there. I hate to say it, but goddamn, the IE600 makes the IE900 seem like kind of a ripoff. In terms of competition, I have my own list of a few IEMs that can challenge the crown of the world's best dynamic driver IEM. At the front runner is the Soft Ears Turi at $1,400 US. Amazing IEM, a little bit V-shaped, but before the IE600, it is my pick for the best DD IEM. Then we have the Dunu Luna, a pioneer, a fully beryllium domed driver, very technical, just not very well tuned, but at the very least, it belongs in the conversation. And going to an even higher price, we have the JVC HAFW 10000. Yes, a mouthful. $2,200, a spectacular IEM by any means, but kind of has some tuning deficiencies, can be a little bit shouty, and of course the price tag is a little hard to swallow. And even within Sennheiser's own catalog, we have the IE900 going for 1,300 US. So we have all of these superstars in the dynamic driver game, and I'm just thinking, all of them just can't beat the IE600. The IE600 is just one league above in terms of tuning, and maybe not in resolution. After all, some IEMs like the Dunu Luna and the Dita Dream can out-resolve the IE600. But it's still no slouch. So what we're looking at here is an IEM with A+ tone, A+ technical performance, and at $700 US, 2 value stars. A revolution in the dynamic driver world. For more context on what these grades exactly mean, please go down to my ranking list on my website, link is down in the description. Yes, it's expensive, I understand, in an absolute vacuum, it is expensive, but when you look at the things that it fights against and again, outright beats. Wow. Sennheiser, they've gotten something good. They've gotten something straight up amazing. And this is hot off the heels of their Sonova acquisition. So all eyes are on them to make something great, to prove that this acquisition has not affected them in any quality. And in my opinion, I feel like they did it. We got a goddamn market breaker here. The IE600, the world's best dynamic driver IEM, according to one guy. And again, it's still only $700. As per usual, we have to thank my big money boys. Here are all of your glorious names if you're subscribed to my $20 Patreon. And of course, for those $30 big boys, allow me to speak out your names. McMadface, Dennis, Jerry, HK47, Moneyboy, ZF James, Fisk, Ozzy, Lost, Noofed, TJ Daly, Daddy, and Charlie Rowe 222. Thank you all. The usual sign off. See you next week. Don't die. Fuck off.